Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. We're playing in the Fall of Oriath beta as a Viper Strike Abyssal Cry Trickster. And contrary to what I thought, we're not gonna head towards the battlefront, because all the quests we currently have send us to the west here. So I'm back in the Toxic Conduits, and we're taking a left turn here. This is a very strong resemblance to how Act 2 is structured, with the east and the west side of town before you can move forward. So the Grand Promenade is ahead of us, with the ladder down to the cesspool. Interesting, nice little bit of a park here. Hey, we got some of those zombies, undying socialites. Some water running around here. And the way forward. Hey, spectral officers. And a ding. Very convenient. That is gonna be a void barrier, which in this case is the most interesting bit, is the 8 to all resists, as well as evasion, ES and ES recharge. But it does help me shake out my resist a little bit. Still vulnerable to lightning, but we'll see how much of that we will encounter here. It's a 56 area, I'm 64 by now, so running a little ahead in terms of levels. Though, as mentioned before, in terms of gear, it's not all that great. Challenges are still very real in some places. I did a little bit of experimenting. I ran around a little bit in the Imperial Fields. It's a very nice area to just roam around. Lots of open areas, though be careful of those balls. They damage you from afar with a Sunder-like ability. That definitely hurts a bit, quite a bit. But I've been running around a little bit and just testing how strong Vengeance was in our setup, and I came to the conclusion that Vengeance probably wasn't doing enough to warrant the 2 gem slots that I had allocated for it, because I was running around with Vengeance with life gain on a hit. Which of course, no, it's an AoE attack, it hits all the things, it gets extra life gain, on top of what we already get from the Twin Claws or the Eagle Claws here, depending on which weapon gets used for the attack. So I took them out experimentally, and now we're running around with cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, increased duration, which of course we can level all the way up to 20, and Phase Run, which I'm gonna keep here at level 3 here. So nice thing about Phase Run is you become phased. So if it triggers, you could potentially run through mobs and get out of combat. Hey, hello Ondar the Betrayer. So you can run out of combat if Whirling Blades fails you, or whatever is the thing. It's useful in those missions for Haku, since you can't use movement skills. Phase Run, actually, no, it's a passive thing that triggers, so it does allow you the speed up. So it is convenient there. And you get a little bit of a damage bonus for your next melee hit. I think it's 21% more melee physical damage on your next hit, which of course helps us with our next Viper Strike attack. So I figured let's play around with it for a little bit. It's gonna be not very noticeable. The increased duration will of course be, since it means our Immortal Call will simply be up for a longer duration. So the promenade area that we're running around in, once again, it's a bit of a reminder of the promenade map, though it's only a reminder, it's not a one-on-one copy. Especially now with the outsides, there's the water here. It has a different feel to it, also with the fountain things in the middle. But I like how they took some of the ingredients that go into the map and made it part of an area. So yeah, that's so far it's with all the new areas. very much a recognition of like this little bits here, little bits there, and some bits that are just completely new. Okay, hello, everybody who's trying to surround me. What's in the box? Maybe I should take you out, like that, okay. +2 chest level, sure. We'll shout, and we'll kill. And they are all out in a single hit, or single explosion. They have a little bit of yellowish to them, those spectral officers. That makes me think that they are rares when in fact they are not. Tricky, tricky ghosts. See, on the map, where are we? Oh, okay, we're just off to the side a bit. Colossus. Oh, there's a lot of things happening here. Spectral Tacticians, summon Raging Spirits, nice. Minion builds are gonna have fun with that. Potentially going after the spirits. This before, the only area in the game that actually had the Raging Spirits was the Calm fight, I think. Or the odd ghost. Okay, so the bathhouse is where we have to be for the Wings of Vestiri. So that's a good mix. Solve the Trial of Ascendancy in this area. Ooh. That is nice. I believe I read somewhere that rather than one, we actually have 3 trials now. So we're gonna have to do all of them for the Merciless Labyrinth. So this has a bit of a feel of some of the labyrinth areas. That's actually more than a feel, it seems like it's taken from there. Risen Gladiators. Hey, these orbs look like the volatile orb, but they're not. Curious. Okay. Then here with the fountains, I like it. It's a nice area, this. Kill Hector Tatutius. Okay. And what? We're just gonna kill some add-ons. Oh wait, actually we could use the add-ons, if only... Okay, so you look big, angry and smashy. Eternal Servant, blocks projectiles while charging. Very strongly telegraphed smash attacks. But despite looking fearsome, doesn't manage to do all that much damage. So that's interesting. But we did get the Wings of Vestiri. Okay. Well, we do have to look for a trial here, so might as well continue. And it looks like the way forward indeed just links off from here. So we have to find an exit as well. Great White Claw, that sounds like a new one. Yes. There's no mana on hit, that's annoying. That's probably the one that I would want. Looks great.
Over here, exile.
Hello, Tora. Rancid Lair. Yes, please. Doing master quests, always good. Okay, just smash in and just hope I don't get horribly murdered while at it. Exactly. All you need is one explosion, and the bigger the group, the bigger the bang. Another Great White Claw. No, I think I'll actually ignore them in favor of waiting for the Gemini Claws. Which, as a player, though, I'm pretty close to it. Gemini Claws are, I believe, 68. So that's no lower tier maps, basically. So one of the interesting things here is that if you look at the passive tree, I haven't actually specced into any of the chaos, the dedicated chaos wheels yet. All I have is the hybrid chaos from here and some from the shadow starter area. But most of the tree is just defensively focused. And already, High Gardens, that's the way forward. But already the Abyssal Cry simply just annihilates packs. And the poison kills the stragglers that don't get killed outright. So in terms of power level, we don't really need the extra chaos wheels to actually make the Abyssal Cry useful. Because it already is very, very useful. Okay. Speaking of trials, eh? Where were a trial? Where would I hide? Probably on the opposite side of both the entrance. So I probably came from the bottom. Exactly, headed to the top. So it's either be on the very right or the very left. Either way, it's not going to be where we are. So, no, we'll just stash things. Hagen.
You found them! No easy feat, I bet. How's old Hector these days? Not so good after you cross paths with them, am I right? I'll polish these wings up and get them back to their owners, just as soon as my Mariketh friend can get her folks to pay the ransom. Price, I mean. In the meantime, take a little something from my stock as payment.
Ooh. Conqueror's efficiency, Conqueror's potency, and Conqueror's longevity. So these are the cruel or merciless crypt jewels. Let's see. Very, very small increases. Though 8% increased effect of flask is pretty decent. Increased effect duration. So makes your mana slightly more effective, makes your curses and auras more effective, or a little bit of defense and recovery. We'll just grab that one. Now, by the sound of my reaction, you might have picked up that I'm not that impressed with the effects.
You're right. Well, they're forged from solid gold. I can tell you that much. But I suppose that's not really what you're asking about. The wings are a treasured piece of the Mariketh heritage. Back when the tribes quit their squabbling and joined hands to battle the Eternal Empire, the wings were seen as a symbol of their unity. The Golden Sechima wore them as she led the whole bloody Mariketh horde against San. She was a single greatest hope for the Mariketh, was that Asenath. Hector Tatusius crushed both their hopes and their precious Sechima.
Asenath, isn't there an Asenath's touch gloves or something in the game? Hey! In Nazaro's grotesque little garden, you'll find an old friend of mine. The yawning maw that is Yugul, but a self-portrait of what that pathetic creature has come to believe about the nature of fear. Those who look upon him see their own fears reflected in his horrifying visage. Okay, that is reflection of terror. Vile scholars seemed compelled to answer all manner of strange and troubling questions. Yugul was one such scholar. Whilst plumbing the depths of humanity, he came to believe that there was no truer expression of humanity than pure terror. He would induce terror in children and then capture their reactions within eldritch mirrors, devices of his own creation that could petrify fear for extended study. Through his gallery of reflected terror, Yugul came to understand human nature so well that he was able to manipulate his way into the vile holes of leadership, and eventually grew so feared and renowned that he ascended into godhood. Upstanding character, I suppose. So, reflection of terror to the side, yep. And then the way forward is the other one. Okay. So, that takes us back to the bathhouse. We have to do a trial. And after that we have the side area there. And then I think we'll keep the Solaris Temple for next time. It's actually nice that there's a little bit more meat to these side areas and quests than I had first assumed there would be. Okay, dead end. That leaves the west as where the trial is probably going to be. Also, there ought to be another exit, and there's a Lorbit. Lorbit usually means a trial. The monolith thing.
On the night of 1,000 ribbons, our finest city burned. It burned with fires lit by cruelty and neglect. It burned with shame for giving the title of emperor to a man who did not deserve it.
Okay, hot. Okay, and that's... Grr. Where was the way forward? Ah, yeah, there. Doesn't burn as hot as it might once have felt. Did I accidentally trigger one of the levers again, or I just simply forgot about one? Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Allow your wisdom to be tempered by the flames of the past.
Okay, it's only one. The other ones don't even respond. So potentially we have actually done this. So it's quirky bit. It's the end of the episode, if I remember. Actually just take a quick walk over to the whatchamacallit, the Ascendancy Square. Basically the entrance of the labyrinth, and just double check if you need 1 or 3 trials. Oh, and we overlooked this one. Lightning sparkles. Of course, those are my weakness. He found my weakness. Didn't help him though. Okay, High Gardens. Let's look for Yugul, the terror. The reflection of terror. Okay, so this is this the puddle thing? Might be the puddle thing. There's a video one of the previous videos of a boss fight, and it might actually have been Yugul. So, from what I understand, in the original Beta 2, when Yugul got added, or when Act 8 got added, I think he was more powerful, and in Beta 4 they toned down some aspects of the fight. There was something about Yugul's orbs. So that's so far the only spoilers I have about the fight. There's something with puddles, and there are orbs. Everything else, no idea. Okay, there was something. That's the entrance that is pointing to. So, overgrown version of the not the courtyard, the other thing. The promenade. Which is fine actually, because having more hedge maze would be annoying, but the high gardens are nice enough. Aquamarine, don't think I had one of those yet. Still looking for a sulfur flask. That's the flask I would really like to have in the setup instead of the amethyst. Since the 6% life generated per second is rather nice for just standing your ground, and 40% increased damage applies to everything, including your poison, as well as the Abyssal Cry effect. And of course your melee attacks, but that is of course the obvious one. But yeah, sources of untyped damage increases are always nice because they benefit all aspects of a build, and especially a build like this that is doing a lot of different things and therefore has a little bit of a divided focus. Though, yeah, it's interesting that actually the unifying factor there is chaos. Just about every aspect of the build does share chaos. It's just different ways that I apply it. Okay, this looks like walking into a trap. With pillars on both sides and just very overly inviting. 5 additional items, Rogue Exile. Let's get unfrozen here. That's worked out beautifully. Okay, items, so many items. Let's have an actual look at what dropped here. Rogue Exiles, of course, just dropping the loot all over the place, as they're supposed to. So let's do that. Just ferrying some loot up and down, very important. And then we'll just sort it out a bit later. Okay, so I probably ought to just color the gems based on just how rare they are or how expensive they would be to acquire. So especially near to the end game, that only the gems that cost like an elk or something to acquire would stand out, because everything else you can basically buy, with the exception of things like added chaos damage, which already I have added in the loot filter as special highlights. Okay, can we flame dash? Yes, lovely. Especially against these porcupines, the Abyssal Cry definitely helps to just prevent them from ever actually spawning their missiles. But despite that, I did make sure to keep my evasion boosting flasks up. So if something got snuck by, then at least I would have a decent chance of dodging the projectile. Okay, and I've found ourselves at the pools of terror. Let's see if this is really something to be afraid of. Or but it's just overrated. Ooh, pretty. Blue. Okay, it's like a big blue frog. Okay. Let's see if face tanking, what that's gonna do. Oh, look. Orbs. Okay. Okay, face tanking them, that's okay, that hurts. Yep, face tanking, not the greatest of ideas. Chew. Ow. Just waiting for my life flasks to start regenerating. That Pantheon power for regenerating life flasks definitely helps. Well, it helps a little. It's only for your life flask. Okay, I do have a bunch of copies that are probably all uniques, yep, so they won't explode. Upside, this is actually a boss fight that doesn't use chaos, so yay for that. Okay, I'm still degenerating. It's probably just some cold damage over time, bit of a vortex-like effect. Fearful, yeah, okay, so that's... Those are fear orbs, I suppose. It is nice, though, that the fight, the arena is large enough. And yes, there's a lot of things in the air, but you do have the space to roam around. This is the kind of fight that I enjoy. Because it allows me to use mobility and kiting to deal with the fight, rather than being forced to face tank it. Or deal with some kind of gimmicky mechanics a la the Duedra fight. That's it, the middle gets intense quickly. Two. That was way too close, Okay, just basically get out before you get hit too much. Yeah, fighting in the center, definitely not good, because then you'll just get fired at from all sides. Okay. And the moment you start taking a lot of damage is the moment you want to get out. Just dash around again. Okay. In our case, we have poison working to our advantage, so he's probably gonna die, exactly. Okay. I must say, this was a nice fight. No, the arena is large enough that you can actually discover the fight, and it is forgiving enough of some mistakes that you can learn the fight as you go, which is something I really enjoy. So let's see what Sin has to say. Yugul was your cautionary tale. The only way to truly understand fear is to become it. And that grants us the soul of Yugul. 20% reduced reflected damage taken. 5% reduced cold damage taken if you've been hit recently. Okay. So in a fight against a cold boss, this is useful. Okay. Interesting. So, now we can go back to Hagen.
So it was that bloody scholar after all, was it? Sick bastard. Well, he's gone now, and I hope you made sure he suffered like those poor kiddies he tormented. I'd have toasted him nice and slow like a spitted pig. See how he'd like them apples stuffed in his mouth. Here, have something for keeping us safe from the divine undesirables of this world.
And that is another skill point. Lovely.
Don't do anything I would.
Lord check. Okay, they are relatively silent on this one. But this does leave us with the quest for the lunar equips. So next episode we'll set forth again from the bathhouse into the next area, which probably is going to be an outside area, and then we're going to go towards the the Lunaris temple. Or it might even be Lunaris and then there's going to be something adjacent to it. Either way, we will figure that out next time. So for now, thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.